My final cup of coffee for the day. This will be it. I had to promise myself this will be it. I do love my coffee, but you know, it's just going to keep dehydrating me. So I've been drinking water, but this is my treat, my little treat as we create together. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Tell me what you're up to. Are you still drinking coffee today, or are you on to your lunch? If you're on the East Coast, that could be the case, that you're on to your lunch. Moving on from the coffee. I'm going to try to get you, there you go, a little further down. All right, this is what I got. I got some old raffle tickets. That I want to turn into some tags for junk journals. Whenever I'm creating junk journals and I make any type of tuck spot or envelope, or if I add a belly band, I don't like to leave those empty. I like to have something to stick in them. So I usually have a little one of these envelopes with several tags, for example, or journal cards or things in them, tucked away in them. I like to have them pre-made. That way, when I'm making a journal, I can find some that might match or go with the book and put them in there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use up these, what would otherwise be known as junk, these old raffle tickets. We're going to make them into something pretty. They've got a very funky color. They were easy for finding in my purse with this color. However, for a junk journal, I don't do a whole lot of bright. So we're going to see what we can do. I'm going to leave this part on there because I think it's interesting to see what the stuff was made out of. Like, I'm using this as my foundation. The other side, the decorative side, the side I'm going to decorate, is going to look a lot different, but I do think it's fascinating to have that there. Okay. I'm not seeing anybody in the live chat yet. You know what? I'm going to just pull up the feed, make sure that you guys can see me because I'm not seeing that anybody's here, and that's totally cool. I don't mind still going ahead with the live, making sure, though, that the feed is working is pretty important. So let me just do that real quick. And I should make sure my volume is off so I don't blast you with some noise that you don't need. Okay, view my channel. Let's see. Is it showing? Is anybody out there? Yeah, it's showing live. Awesome sauce. And okay, that shows weird. The YouTube live settings says that a vertical orientation is now recommended. I normally flip the camera so that you get a wide view, but it said this vertical was recommended, and now the screen isn't completely full. So I don't know. I did what they told me to do. I'm a little rule follower that I am. Hey, Janice, how are you? What's going on? All right, let's do 3 at a time. Now, I did pull out my handy dandy tag maker and discovered that these are about a 1/4 inch too big for putting through the tag maker. So I am going to trim them down. Let's just start with making some tags, and I can use that tag maker on the top to make it decorative. But I do have to trim these down to 2.5 is the biggest that'll go through there. Don't love this cutting board for the fact that it doesn't have all the markings on it. It only has the main numbers. Let me just make sure it's going to fit. Did I cut off enough? I'm just cutting the littlest bit. Yeah, this is going to work. I'm going to cut off. It has a serrayed edge here. So I'm going to actually cut that off so that I have 2 smooth edges. So we get this shape. Okay. Now, I think for the other 2, let's do something a little different. Let me cut them down, and then I'm going to decorate them, the top of them, and then cut it down. This one I cut down first. There's no right or wrong, but I think we're going to get different results. That's the point of it, just to kind of showcase that you can do it different ways. Janice, what are you up to this weekend, friend? Got sports? Is your sports season winding down with the kids? Well, first of all, let me ask this. Do your kids get out of school in June? My kids are done next week. So I think that baseball goes beyond the school year. I think that the baseball season goes beyond the school year, but I'm not sure because my kids aren't in baseball. But for those of you mamas, now I have you guys. I have a ton of, this is just coffee stained paper that's torn. I've got book pages here, you know, just like the regular junk journalers, a plethora of stuff. Last night we did a tall, skinny junk journal we're working on in the Craft Therapy Club. And I have all these strips of paper. So we're going to just try to do what we do, is make pretty things out of junk. So while I'm creating, I'd love to hear from you guys. I need there it is, my glue stick. There's Debbie. Thanks for saying hello. How are you, friend? What's happening in your world, Debbie? Okay, I need, before I do much more here, I better get my insurance benefits book. That's what I use for my base, so I can, if I get glue all over it, I save this. Don't be offended if you work in the insurance industry. This is a really old one that I pulled from my file cabinet that is from my plan years ago. But I like to put this as my base so that I can put glue down and not worry about getting it on my table, and then just tear the pages off as I go. So actually, I wanted this piece for one of the plain ones, the ones I haven't cut yet. So I'm going to put a lot of glue on this and then stick down some pretty papers. I think I'm even, I mean, you can line up your paper with the edges, but I'm going to go over the edges and then perhaps trim it off. We'll just see what it looks like when we're all done with what we're doing. Kind of leave it open, decide as I go. Okay, so we're just gluing stuff down here, nothing too fancy pantsy. Collage of papers to cover this up. Let's see what else I have here. These are decorative scrapbook papers that I painted and sprayed on the other side. So I actually have two options here for what I want to use to cover that bright neon pink paper, if that's what you would call it. I have a tiny smidgen of pink peeking through with what I have left. See, right there, tiny smidgen. But I think that'll get covered in the end by something else. So let's just move on. That's what I got. That's what I got right now. I know it looks so funky, but we'll deal with that in a minute. There's something very relaxing and therapeutic for me to take scraps of paper, turn it into something different, turn it into something pretty. I love the role of remaker, remaking things. I love that role. It makes me feel really good to recycle junk and make it into something pretty. And it's a challenge. It's a bit of a challenge sometimes, but I enjoy it. Okay, this is getting pretty sticky, so I'm just going to fold it so I can have a clean page, and then I'll tear it off when that gets sticky. Throw it in the garbage, because it would have gotten thrown out anyway, so it's okay. I also pulled out some bits of fabric. I don't think I'm going to do it on the base layer, the bits of fabric, but I will eventually be using some of that fabric. This isn't quite, it's not quite big enough. It's just a little bit too thin. We'll find another one. Don't worry. I got a never-ending row of strips here to be used. I have coffee stained. I actually think I'm going to use this, so I'm going to tear it on both sides so I don't have a straight edge, because you know I'm not a fan of the straight edge. No sports. Oh, sports is never done. Competitive baseball season in full swing. Kids get out on the 28th, I believe. Oh, of May. You guys kind of have it early. You know, and where I grew up in Massachusetts, on the East Coast, like even my nephews, my nephew, nieces, they don't get out of school until the end of June. We always have to plan our family vacation after that. Even though my kids have been out for a full month, their kids aren't out of school yet. So they don't get out until the end of June. Can you imagine? That's how I grew up too. But now that my kids have gone through this whole cycle of school and have been getting out in May, particularly in the climate that we live in, it really works out well, because we have very short summer, very short warm weather, very short amount of time to get on the lake and go out for walks, because we live in the northern climate. So I'm happy that they're out the end of May. I can't imagine being in school for all of June. That's our best summer month in terms of weather. Okay, it looks very funny. It's stuck down to the page. Looks very funny. But we're going to cut these down. Let me cover this last one. That'll give that glue a minute to dry while we're covering this one that I've already cut that. It's Friday, which is nice. I wonder if anybody has plans this weekend. Oh, I can't see comments from here. Why can't I see the comments from here? Why can't I move this? I don't know. Why can't I? All right, this one I am going to try to line up. I don't want to see any of the pink from the front, though, to be truthful. I'm not a very big fan of that color. Don't want any peeking through. Okay, I think let's go over on this side. I don't like using cardstock for this layer. Oh, I have this really pretty embossed paper, though. I might want that on there. I don't love using cardstock. I can use this for the cardstock, but actually I prefer to use a liquid glue when it's a cardstock. I don't know why. I just feel like it holds down the thicker paper better. Thinner paper holds down really well with the glue stick. Ooh, it's such a pretty pink too. This embossed paper is so pretty. All right, this may cover it if I do this. Wait, maybe not. Nope, it's not. It's not quite wide enough. If I can find a piece that's wider, that would be even better. Here's one. Oh, I wish I had layered it underneath. Maybe I still can, a little bit under that cardstock. I have, look at, it ripped right there. So I'm gonna stick that paper under there. I'm gonna put a little bit more of that liquid glue under there. Then I'm gonna add glue stick. And then I'm gonna stick this underneath there so that I can put this on top. That'll be interesting looking. It's covering up all the pink. I might need a little more glue though. Repositioning. You're going short camping trip the 24th to the 27th, so they're going to miss school the 24th, holiday on Monday. You love the coral in? It's so bright. I don't think I'll make them go. That's so good. It's okay that they missed the day of school to do something family oriented for sure. Debbie's lazy crafting today, fussy cutting images from thrifted garden books. Oh, Debbie, can I join you? Oh, that sounds like fun. That sounds like a great use of your time today. Okay, this one looks funky, but remember, keep in mind this first layer is just meant to give us a foundation or a base. It looks a little funky, but I do love that. Now I want to go around and I want to cut. I'm going to do this one last because that has the wettest glue. Let's do the one that I did first because it'll be most dry. I'm just going to go around and cut. Now these things that I cut off back into the scraps pile. I mean, they're big enough. Those are big enough. This one won't be. But those other ones are big enough that I could put it right back in the scraps pile. There. And it doesn't even have to be, I don't like, see how that's just a little excess there? I'm good with that. It's got the basic shape. We'll put it through the tag cutter in a minute. And all these little itty bitty pieces will just go right. I'll put it about the floor. They're not going on the floor. I do have a garbage can there. Some of them hit the floor, I'll be honest with you, but basically the garbage can is getting most of it. And then I sweep when I'm done, so I have a clean floor. Sometimes it might take me a day or two to get to the suit. Anybody else? Do you always have fabric scraps and paper scraps on the floor in your craft space? I don't love the cluttered look of it at all, Sometimes I'm just too tired. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that right now. And I'm blessed enough that I have a designated room for creating. So nobody else comes in here unless they're looking for me. My children and my husband do not come in this room unless they're looking for me, or if the kids, sometimes they'll come in here and they're like, Mom, I need glue sticks. And they'll come in here and grab glue sticks or the glue gun for a project for school. Most of the time they don't come in here. All right, I have this little thing poking up. It's affixed down, but that little piece is poking up and I rather like it, so I'm leaving it. Okay. Now, oh, actually that is gonna end up being, I wanna cut the perforated edge off when I put it through the tag maker. So let's get it in there and see what this does. Now it's a little thicker because we have a couple layers. So it takes a little more energy to do that part, but look, pretty, right? And then who knew, right behind it, it's junk. That's what it makes me so excited. I love that. And I'm able to use this junk to make something purty. Okay, this one, that appears crooked. I don't know why. So actually I'm gonna cut that edge because it might be my eyeball, like making things up in my head, but since it appears a little bit crooked, I'm gonna cut that side. I don't mind that. See that little overage right there? That doesn't bother me at all. Okay, 1, 2, where's the third one? I lost it. A good time to take a sip of coffee because I lost the tag. Where? Gracie Grill. Did you put it in the garbage? I don't know where it went, girls. Buckets, buckaroonies. What the stink? I have no idea where it went. I hate when I do this. All right, I'm not gonna worry about it. I only have 2 now. I had 3. Now I only have 2. Let's do another one or 2 more at least. Girls. Oh, I found it. Good gravy. That was like a little irritating to me. This is the one I already cut that way. So now I have to like fussy cut around. See, I do think it's easier. Just cover the whole square and then put the whole thing. You will not be able to get fabric through this cutter. Likely, you won't be able to get fabric through, but if you keep it all paper at this stage of the game, you can see I was able to get it through. Now, I don't have a ton of cardstock. There's not cardstock. This is cardstock, the pink one. And then here I have just regular weight, 3 pieces of regular weight paper. But if you keep it to regular weight paper, you should be able to get it through your tag maker if you have one of those. These are actually, I found these in my desk. I was cleaning my desk out a little bit. And I was like, man, these are from 2022. That's how long, what I do when I buy tickets from any of the kids, when they're selling tickets for their sports team or like band or whatever they're selling them for, I always buy them. I always buy at least a couple if I can. And then these cards that you get back that have your ticket number on them, I usually just put them underneath the drawer that holds like all my desk stuff in the drawer. So I put them underneath and I picked it up the other day. I'm like, whoa, I got a lot of tickets under here. So I started grabbing them all to throw them out. And these are actually from 2022. Gracie Grew, that's old. All right, I need to establish that hole again. I'll do that later. Let's do 3 more. Because I'll have a really good collection, even if, talk about tired crafting, Debbie. This is a good activity to do tired crafting, right? Use up the scraps, use up your junk, because I came across these. Let's use them up. If I get it to this stage and then put them in one of my little plastic pockets, they are close to done. Now I can put on it a focal point, or I can stamp a phrase on there or an image on there if I want to, or I could leave it plain, put a tie in it, like a rope or a ribbon or something, and then I'm closer to ready to done. And I don't have to commit to the other stuff just yet. I don't have to commit to putting anything more on it. Sometimes if you just get to that level, you're happy, and that's a good thing. I have a lot of these cards though. Looks like I bought about 10 of them. Supporting the wrestling team, of course. Of course, supporting the wrestling team. Right, Janice? We gotta support our boys and girls who are wrestling. I don't have any girls, but you do. I think you do anyway. You have a female wrestler, don't you? A young lady wrestling. I really love the coffee stained paper. Okay, that's funky. That's a little safer. That is funky. I don't usually go with orange, but it has all this metallic paint in it, and I do really like that. Maybe I don't need to have such a big piece because it's rather large. Maybe I can tear it down a little bit, and then I'll have this one for another one, and then I don't have to have so much orange on one. I'm not sure that I like the orange a whole lot. But it is very interesting. Now I have to just cover this middle with something. I haven't been using a whole lot of book page. I had some decorative paper strip that had words on it, but I think I already used it up. So I guess I'll go to my book and grab a book page. Okay, how many of you, hey Lynn, did I say hello to you yet, darling? If I didn't, I'm so sorry. Coffee is good. I'm drinking a new, I don't usually buy flavored coffee because I'm not usually a big fan of it, to be truthful with you. But they had a Cinnabon coffee. And I was thinking to myself, who doesn't love a Cinnabon roll? I mean, girls, are you with me? I can't eat the Cinnabon roll, but if I have a little bit of Cinnabon coffee, is that so bad? It's okay. I put in like a little less than a teaspoon of agave in it. And that would be my only complaint. It feels bitter. It tastes bitter to me. I would like a little more sugar in it. A little more sugar, sugar daddy. But I don't have sugar with me in this room, so I'm just going to drink it as it is. One of my daughters signed up and went to a couple of practices, but never actually practiced. I think she did it for the boys. There are some of those. We have some of the girls who signed up to be with the boys too. I love it. I love it. It's adolescent ingenuity. Let's call it ingenuity. Janice, adolescent ingenuity. I love it. It makes me laugh. I'll tell you though, Landon, my son Landon, you know, he's super serious, you guys. He worries me just a little bit. But I have to admit, when I was this age, I was really serious about my obligations and about doing right. So he hasn't fallen too far from the tree in that regard. My husband was also, not in high school, he wasn't. But in college, when he became college age and when he was a senior in college, my husband got super serious about, oh, I just need to grow up and get a job. And he really kind of pissed away. I hate to use that word, and he would probably agree with you. At the time, he didn't think that's what he was doing. But he kind of pissed away a little bit of his young adulthood because he wanted so badly to be grown up. So he just full force delved into like committing all of his time and energy into work. He got married immediately after college to the girl he was dating in college. That didn't work out, obviously. He's divorced from her and married me many years later. So he just really wanted to be a grown up as he saw it when he was 21, and really kind of like just took it too seriously, probably. I think Landon's the same way. And he's like, yesterday they do, I don't know if you guys have this, but locally we have a walk. That's the high school seniors do a walk through all of the elementary schools with their caps and gowns on. They put them on buses and they like go down Main Street honking the horn, and you know, people come out and wave and like, yeah, cheer for them and stuff because they're graduating. It's a big deal. We live in a smaller town, so I love that about our town, that it's super supportive of the kids. So they do that, and then they go through every single elementary school. There's like three elementary schools. So the kids only could have gone to one of these elementary schools. So they walk through the halls of their old elementary school. They walk through the halls of the middle school. They walk through the halls of the high school, and all the other kids line the hallways and kind of give them high fives as they're walking through the hallways. So it's really sweet. It takes a couple of hours. After they're all done with that celebration, they go back to the school, the high school, and in the gym, they take their class picture. Like all of them get up in the stands and they have them all lined up in their cap and gown and get a class picture. It's awesome. But Landon yesterday, my little serious one, he's like, Ma, this is a total waste of my time. He's such an old man. This is a total waste of my time. We shouldn't be doing this. We could be getting classwork done, or we could be doing this or that. I said, Landon, just enjoy it. It's meant to be fun. Kid, can I just have some fun? Relax and have some fun. Yeah, he was like, this is a total waste of my time. So when I say he's serious, that's what I mean by that. Like, he's too serious for an 18-year-old. Come on, kid, just have some fun. Just enjoy it. I'm a little worried that he's going to go off to college and be too serious. Like, you have to socialize. You have to go do dumb things with your dumb but safe things with your teenage friends. So what I'm getting at is when the girls' team was just established this past year, we had one young lady who wrestled with the boys. There wasn't a girls' division in North Dakota for wrestling. And Jenna, this one young lady, wrestled with the boys, and she was hugely successful. Given the fact that she was a girl, she did really well. She's actually playing wrestling for a college now. She's in college, and she wrestles for a women's college team. So she did fantastic. And she kind of blazed the trail for other girls to try it, because it's really difficult. I would think, I'd never done it, but I would have thought that for her that was challenging at times to be the only girl on the whole team, on the whole high school team. Since then, there have been a couple of girls who have trickled in. That's what I mean by she blazed the trail. And now they've started a whole blown out high school girls program so that when the girls compete in the duels and the matches, they compete with other girls. Fabulous, right? It makes a lot of sense. They've gotten there. Yay, that's awesome. But when the girls started coming to the boys' practices, Landon was like, they're worried. They were leaving makeup on the mats. This was an issue. The girls were getting makeup on the mats, like foundation and mascara, because they're sweating. And so the coach had to have a talk with them and say, girls, like the boys were coming home then with stuff all over their singlets. And they're like, it's girls' makeup, Mom. Is it going to come off? That makes me laugh so hard. So the coaches had to talk to the girls about, you have to remove your makeup before you come. So Lena has no tolerance for any of this stuff. It's freaking hilarious to me because he's such a little old man in a teenager's body. I love him. We love him. We love him. I wouldn't want him any other way. It's who he is, but it is kind of funny. We can laugh about it. Someday, I hope he looks back and thinks, ugh, why was this so serious? Yeah, why were you so serious? Just be a teenager and have fun. In a way, his seriousness is also what helps him be a successful student because he's super focused. But with the wrestling thing, I was laughing. At first, we were like, what is this all over your singlet? And he's like, oh. It took like the boys a week to figure it out. And then he's like, it's the girls. They're leaving makeup on the mats. It's a brand new program. And their coach is a man. He's one of the dads, is the women's coach. So it's not like he would know or would think about, mascara messing up the mats. But they had to clean all the mats and... oh gosh, it makes me laugh. I think it's a good thing. It's like growing pains, right? Like new program, you gotta adapt. That's what I told Lennon. Like, get over it, kid. It's gonna be fun. It's not the end of the world. I think this is the first time. This is not the first time you're gonna have mascara on your clothes from a girl. Let's just say that. Let's just leave it at that. Oh, let me check your comments. I see a lot of laugh emojis. Let's see what you guys are saying. One of my daughters signed up and went to a couple of bars. So I read that one already. My son did the same. Passed away several years. It took him many years to forgive himself for that. So that's the thing, Lynn. But, Landon is a very confident kid, which is great. Like, it really has served him well. Like I said, he's done well in high school. He does really well in his activities. He's not always, like, he wasn't a winning wrestler in terms of winning all his matches. He won a few, but he started wrestling when he was a sophomore in high school. All the other kids started wrestling when they were 5. So he's competing with kids who have been wrestling since they were 5. And he knew that, but he loves wrestling. He tried it, he loved it, so he stuck with it. His confidence in his ability to work really hard served him well in that instance. His peers really respected him, even though he wasn't the winningest teammate. His coaches really respected him and let him run the practices and the warm-ups and stuff as team captain. So it served him well in that regard, but he, you know, he knew he wasn't going to be winning state year-end awards because he's a new wrestler. It's, you know, he just doesn't have the skill. He doesn't have the memory, muscle memory. Some of these kids, to watch them wrestle, wow, it's impressive to see how fast they can react to what their opponent does, just because they've been doing it for so long, and they don't even have to think about it. You can see Landon out there thinking. Like, he'd be stuck underneath someone, and you can see his little engineering type brain, mechanical type brain, trying to figure out what should I do. And we said to him, don't think so much. Just do what they are teaching you. It's easier said than done when, you know, he's only been to only so many practices, right? Like, he hasn't been going to camps his whole life. He hasn't been coached by many people, you know, just the people that he's surrounded by locally, where I know a lot of these kids have gone to camps in other states, at other colleges or high schools. And so they've had a lot of exposure to wrestling that Lennon hasn't had. So his confidence really has served him well with things like that. But then again, don't be so serious. Can't ask him to be everything, right? We love him just the way he is. I just want him to enjoy his young life, his young adulthood so much. Okay, these are just, like, that one is so simple. There's that orange paper that I hate, but I really toned it down with that big piece of book paper in the middle. And then that, I don't even know what that is. It's just a funky geometric shape. And it's brown, so it tones it all down. So we're going to put these through the tag maker. This is kind of busy work, right? It's not quite just cutting out images. That's what, was it Debbie or Lynn? Which one of you said that you were cutting out images? Yeah, such an old man. I love the idea of the graduates visiting their elementary schools, Debbie says. They are setting an example for the future. I said that too. I said that to Landon too, and that would resonate with him because he has a leadership mentality, because he's so serious. I said, just think of the quiet inspiration you're giving to some of those kids who feel maybe because they're not like a super strong student at this stage in elementary school, maybe they're struggling with something like math or a particular subject or something, or maybe their home life makes it just really hard to focus and get homework done and all that stuff. I said, so think about the quiet inspiration you might be giving them by seeing you and all your peers. I don't know if there's 114 of them graduating or something like that, walking through the halls with your caps and gowns. I hope the younger kids get a feeling of, wow, if these kids can do it, why wouldn't I be able to do it? So I reminded him of that. But it is really sweet. Then what they did at each of the schools, so when they went through St. Joe's, which where our kids went to St. Joe's for elementary school, they gathered all the St. Joe's kids, the kids who went to St. Joe's, and lined them up and took a picture of just the St. Joe's graduates, which is really nice. And they did that at each school. So each elementary school, that they could find the kids. Oh, I forgot to cut these down, you guys. It doesn't fit in there. We got to cut just a sliver of these off. So I did think that was really a sweet, sweet thing. One of the moms kindly, JC, she's another mom of a St. Joe kid. So we went through the St. Joe's Elementary School program that our boys are graduating together. So their whole life, the boys have been going to field trips together. And this particular kid, when they were in elementary school, he came to our house quite a few times and went to a few of Landon's birthday parties, like his 9th, 10th, 11th birthday party, whatever. So we know them a little bit in that regard. I mean, the boys have since, it was really sad. I said to Landon, this boy came up in conversation, and I said, well, when do you get to see him at school? And he said, Mom, I never see him. We are in totally different tracks in high school. So unfortunately, that's what happened. They just kind of grew apart because they don't ever even see each other during the school day, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. Oh my gosh, I like that one. There's a little bit of gold right there. That's just a little gold fleck. I don't know why that, like that, just a little bit of sparkle just always makes me so happy. Oh, I forgot to cut this one apart. So he doesn't see him very often, but the mom yesterday sent me a picture immediately. She went to St. Joe's to meet the bus and see the kids all walk through the hallway. And I was like, darn it. I was at home cleaning the filter, like cleaning the hot tub filters. That's all I was doing. I could have gone. I didn't know that it was a thing that moms could go to the elementary school and watch the kids go. I was like, why didn't that occur to me? And why didn't anybody tell me that I could go and watch the kids walk through their elementary school? It would have been so heartwarming. I didn't know. I just didn't. I said to Landon, I'm sorry I wasn't there. I didn't know it was a thing. He said, Mom, there was almost no other parent there. He said, don't worry about it. He said, there were no parents there other than at the elementary schools, you know, Hudson, the kid that he's doing his party with. He said, Hudson's mom was there because she works at the school. So she got a picture for you. Because I said, I want a picture of you and Hudson with your caps and gowns on. He said, oh, Mrs. Hoda's got it for you. So that was good. But I was like, man, if I had known that that was an option, I totally would have crashed that party. I'm that kind of mom. Totally wiggle my way into the crowd so I can get some video and pictures, but I didn't. I didn't know that was an option. Yeah, I had never heard, Debbie, she says she loves the idea of the elementary school visits. I had never heard of that. I think it's such a sweet tradition, right? All right, look at you guys. We're making really good progress. Like I have one, and they're all just a little bit of the same, a little bit different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 of them done. One of them I still have to poke that hole, but how funky on the back then to have that bright. And that can always change. Like if you're gonna, I'm gonna stick these aside so that I have them so I can keep decorating them and then use them in journals. And if this just isn't gonna jive with the theme or the book that you have, or you really wanna cover it up, you can always cover it up later. I only have 3 left, so I'm gonna finish them. If you don't mind, if you wanna hang out for a few more minutes. Oh, I've gotta cut them down. Oh, I'll just do it later. Maybe I could work a little faster and put glue down. This will add the pressure. Get the glue down on 3 of them and just put down strips of paper, Grace. Don't overthink it. Just put down strips of paper. I could actually use the same piece of paper for 2 of them. I should really save some of this paper because this is for my tall, skinny junk journal. And I wouldn't mind having it available to myself for that later. Oh my gosh, it's going to end up being the same strip of paper for all 3 of them. I'm trying to find one that's long enough to cover that first strip. Okay, second strip. I think I'll use book paper because I kind of like the look of the book paper on here. Come on. Don't be chintzy now, glue. Come out wherever you are. Where's the book paper? Where did I put it? Here it is. You guys want to hear something funny? I was thinking about how much I love using book paper, about the library sale, where I usually get my book paper. This one's probably a little too thick. Then I was thinking about the library because they just posted the other day. They're having this like really cool and fun, I'm going to say summer party. I don't really know what it is. It's their summer reading program kickoff. Well, I read about the party and I'm like, whoa, that all sounds like super fun. They're doing like shaving cream painting and things like that. Shaving cream painting was kind of artsy things. And you know me, I'm like all about the artsy fartsy. I'm like, hey, anything artsy fartsy, I want to be there. I'm not a big reader, but I want to go to the summer reading kickoff party. I want to go to it because they had all these artsy fartsy stuff. And so I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, they made an event on Facebook. I'm like, that really sounds like a lot of fun. Wow, that would be really cool to go to that. And then I'm thinking, summer reading program, that's for like elementary school kids. So I asked, I'm like, you didn't really put an age limit on here. Like, is everybody from the community welcome? My kids are too old. My children are too old for the summer reading program. Because it literally is for elementary school kids, I think. Maybe middle school too. I don't quite remember the age cutoff. But like, Are like, is the general public welcome to go to this artsy fartsy party that you're having to kick off summer reading? I don't know, but it looks like a lot of fun. So I kind of gave them a kudos, compliment that, way to go. There's a newish librarian there. And she's young and she has such fun ideas and she's been doing some really cool stuff. So I wanted to ask her about the age limit, but also be like, yeah, that's, you know, you're coming up with something that's fun enough that the general public wants to go, even though it's for kids. So that's I think, a compliment. Anybody else I'm creating today or this weekend? You got any creating plans? Creative plans? I need another piece of paper that is not book page. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to get rid of this gluey glue book because it's pretty sticky. Kind of have this tucked off to the side because I've been using it so often. Now my table's nice and clean. It doesn't have any glue on it. Put aside some of these paper scraps. That one's too small to keep. That one's too small to keep. This ones are not. Okay. We're going to cut and put through the... Oh, I still have to cut a little smidgen of this off. Like about 1/4 of an inch to get it through the tag maker. It's going to be 80 degrees here today. It's amazing. It feels more like summer every day, and the trees are really popping now. They're like, there are leaves budded through on all of the trees and the bushes. So it's really starting to feel like summer here now. The bugs are coming too. Like I did notice, Lena got 2 big mosquito bites yesterday. He was outside. He's like, the mosquitoes are out. You know, it's warm enough when the mosquitoes have hatched and they're out. And they are a nuisance. They are really a nuisance. We get a lot of them by the lake. But it's a small price to pay to be outside and enjoy the good weather. That's the way I look at it anyway. Oh, I cut too far into that, right into the pink. So I think that's going to be the edge that I put through my cutter to cut off that 1/4 inch. Let's just do it now so I don't forget. This is the side I need to cut off, like a 1/4 inch. Hey, Kim, she's headed out on a cruise and got stuff to make ATCs. Kim, darling girl, where are you going? How long is your cruise? I would love to live vicariously through you since I've been able to do nothing fun like that. You share in the fun by simply telling us, if you're comfortable, where are you heading? Where are your cruise ports? Oh, who are you going with? I'm glad you're bringing ATC card stuff. That sounds fun. It's a good way to relax, have your morning coffee, and do a little creating while you're at it. What a good idea. Craft cruise. I really want to do a craft cruise someday, girls. I want to. I may just organize one eventually. Now, keep in mind, I was thinking about this. For the next school year, Landon is going to be off to college. He's going to be off, not living in the same house as us for the school year. And his brother will have his senior year. So Gannon will be a senior at home with us. Landon will be off to college, but then the year after, they're both going to be off to college. So we truly will be empty nesters at that point. So that's the year where I can start, in the school year traveling again. I have avoided it. If I don't have to go on any trips without my family, without my children and my husband in the school year, I'm staying home. I am hugely and fully committed to being a stay-at-home mom and wife. Love my role. It's my calling in life, and I don't regret an instant of it. I got my master's degree so I could have a career in higher education. I had a career in higher education. I left my career in higher education behind to raise my kids, and I will always just know that that was the most perfect and the answer of yes to God, that was my calling, was to raise these kids and to support my husband and our family in that way. But when they're both gone from the household, I'm going to have so much freedom that I have not had for 20 years. It's going to be wild. I can't wait for that. It's not that I can't. It's not that I want my kids to be gone. That's not what I'm saying. It is the rightful passage of them getting their independence, obviously. But then it's going to be like, whoa, what am I going to do with all my time? I'm going to create a lot. I'm going to craft a lot. I'm going to be, self-care. I'm going to focus on my husband and try to get to know him again as a husband. We've been so focused on being mom and dad that we haven't really focused on our own relationship very much. We get along great, but it's time to like get back to each other. It's where we started. We got to get back to that. And I want to travel. I want to go on cruises. I want to go on cruises and bring some craft supplies with me. Yes, it'll be our turn, Lynn. And it makes me a little sad. It makes me a lot sad. I'll be honest. Part of me is not ready at all to let go of these boys out of my household. That's the big thing. Them leaving the household is going to be hard for me because I've been home with them. And when they were in school, I was volunteer mom at school. So I was the class mom. Like if the teacher was doing, like when they were making gingerbread houses, for example, it's like, that is too much work for one teacher to help all the kids make gingerbread. So she'd ask several moms, can you guys come in and help me with the gingerbread houses? Yeah, I was always the yes mom. Like, yes, I will help with gingerbread houses. I will help set up for that. I will help clean that or do, all the things. So I spent as much time as I could with my kids, even when they were at school, when they were at the activities. That's just what I did. And I've loved every minute of it. Not to say I haven't been frustrated, not to say I haven't been tired, not to say that I haven't felt at times like, oh my word, when do I get to fill my cup up? Like I think that's a very common thing for full-time moms, stay-at-home moms, homemakers to feel like you do for everybody. And if you have a giving heart anyway, then you're going to gladly do all that. And I have gladly do all that. Glad, but sometimes you look and go, oh my word, when can I just get an hour to myself without somebody coming in here and asking me a question? So I think if any of you are moms, you understand that. We all feel that at some point. When you go into the bathroom and you shut the door, and you just stay there for a while. Because nobody really will bother you when you're in the bathroom most of the time. Although Gannon will yell through the door, Mom, what can I have for a snack? I'm like, Gannon, can you not wait until I'm done? But you just linger in there with your phone just for a few minutes to get yourself a little me time. Oh, I admit it. It's happened in the past. Not very often, but often enough that I can admit that it's true. You have so much to look forward to. Your boys will grow up, find their soulmates, give you and grandbabies. Oh, we rejoice. And she said, and you and Chris will rejoice in your life. That's a beautiful way to put it. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. Rejoice in life is just such the perfect way to look at that. And we do. We already do, or I do anyway. And I know we will even more as the kids just, like you said, as they kind of find their own way, right? It's exciting. It's exciting. And the transition you have both feelings. I feel excitement, but I do feel a little sadness. It's both feelings. I think it's totally normal. The little fingers come under the door. The grandbabies, I can't even fathom. I'm just really trying to grasp in my head the fact that my children will not be under the same roof as me. That's good. And that, I see a lot of moms of older kids, adult kids who have gone off on their own. I know how so many of you make comments about, they're all coming home for Thanksgiving or they're all going to be here for Christmas and how precious that time is. Like how you just rejoice in having them back home. So I'll look forward to that too. But yeah, you're right. And then it's Chris and my time to get back to us and rediscover each other. Oh my gosh, so exciting. Well, it's been really fun having coffee with you guys. I don't know if I have a favorite. I'm going to pick a favorite and show you. I really like that one with the gold. Really do. And let's see, I do like the one with the embossed, but I think if I had to pick a favorite, I go to the ones with the metallics. This one has the orange. I'm not a fan of orange, but because it has I don't know if you can see the shimmer. There is a shimmer paint on there. So you probably get little glimpses of brightness in that orange. Yeah, you can see it down there. for sure, the gold. And then this one's super, super shine with that gold. Those two are probably my favorite of all of them. And how simple. We just turned junk into treasure, something that we can use in either as a gift tag, or my intention is to use these in my junk journals that I make. So there you have it. All right, you guys, go make something pretty that brings your heart joy. Have a beautiful, blessed day. I will catch you next time. If you're a Facebook subscriber, by the way, you guys, we have happy hour at 4 o'clock. So I'll see you guys then.